Hi, this is Justin. Welcome to Bringing Learning to Life. Time for Teachable Thursdays. Today, I wanted to talk with you about checking your accounts. And often we check our bank accounts every day. I know if you're like me, you check yours maybe even multiple times a day to make sure that you have enough money to cover all the expenses of your bills that are coming out of your account. And just as we constantly check our bank accounts, we need to check our students' accounts, their emotional accounts. Their lives are going to resemble bank accounts, and we need to make sure, just like with our bank accounts, that we're making twice as many deposits as we are withdrawals in their lives. And before we can ever attempt to make a withdrawal in their life, we have to make sure we have made twice the deposits in there. So things like daily affirmations, giving kids high fives, giving them a hug, shaking their hand, going to their basketball game. All of these things are ways that we can deposit into our students' lives. And again, I've learned over the years that I need to make twice as many deposits as I do withdrawals, so that when I do have to make a withdrawal from a student, that they're not as offended. Let's say they don't do their homework, they are talking while I'm talking, and I have to give them silent lunch or discipline them in some way. If I have deposited into that child's life and built that relationship up, when I do have to make that withdrawal, I have a surplus from which to draw that from. But if I don't make those deposits daily, multiple times a day with students, then when I do have to make withdrawals, then I'm going to deplete their account. So think about how many deposits and how many withdrawals that you're making in a given day or in a given week. Of course, we hope that parents and our family members and our members of the community help to partner with us to make deposits, and that they help to keep our students' accounts in the black. But the reality is that so many students come to us with their accounts already depleted. And as teachers, we need to know what these signs of depleted accounts look like. They look like anger. They look like students who are depressed. They look like students who do bad things to get attention. They are trying to build their accounts back up when they do these things, when they're just mad for no reason. They're trying to seek that negative attention and build their account back up. And I just want you to reflect for one whole day this week. Ask yourself, take note of your words, your actions. Are you making more deposits or are you making more withdrawals? Because just like with our own personal bank accounts, withdrawals are easier than deposits. It's easy to go out there and spend money. It's easy to rack up a credit card and then have a big bill to pay. But what's hard is to make those deposits, to making sure we're putting that money in that account. And again, just like with our students, we have to make sure we have enough stored up in their accounts so that when we have to make withdrawals, we have something to pull from. Also with students, a deposit for one student might not look the same for another student. I mentioned going to a basketball game earlier. Some students, that might be all it needs for you to fill their whole account up. Just go to their basketball game. For another student, it can be as simple as a high five, a handshake, a hug. For another student, it might be calling their parents and letting them know they had a really good day today. It can really fill a child's account up in various ways if you do that. But you're going to have to figure out what works for each of your students. I also want you to think about, are you allowing time in your class for students to make deposits into each other's accounts? Are you encouraging students to affirm each other and uplift each other? Are you making the space for this in your classroom climate? If you need help with this, I would urge you to read this book with your students. It's called Have You Filled a Bucket Today? And it is by Carol McLeod. It's a wonderful book for students to think about bucket filling and bucket dipping. And so bucket filling is when you would be depositing, right? And then bucket dipping is when you dip into other people's buckets, right? So I think that students really, especially in the elementary and probably early middle grades, but even in high school, it says all day long, everyone in the whole wide world walks around carrying invisible buckets. Those are our accounts, right? And so it really makes students reflect on their personal words, their personal actions, and if they're bucket dipping or if they're bucket filling. There's also a website that goes along with this book. It's called bucketfillers101.com. Teachers, there's great free activities up here that you can use to go along also with your curriculum. Think about people in history, people that we're reading about in our novels. Were they bucket fillers or were they bucket dippers? And so we can relate this book back to our curriculum. So again, just think about your day, think about your kids, think about your words. Are you depositing in your account, or were you withdrawing from their accounts? And children, little things that we do are actually the big things for them. So don't take a high five, a piece of candy, 5 minutes of extra recess time for granted. Make those small deposits because they will become the big deposits later. Thank you, and hope you have a wonderful day.